This podcast is a member of the New York City Podcast Network at nycpodcastnetwork.com. Visit us to listen to over 250 amazing podcasts just like this one.
Japanese street style is some of the cutest and trendiest clothing in the world. Introducing Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing and Accessories, the hottest original and cute clothing company. We offer tops, clothes, accessories, shoes, dresses and skirts, and comfortable homeware that we guarantee you will love. Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing, super cute Japanese style clothing.
Welcome. This is Jeffrey Frazier of the Black Wall Street Chronicles. We back at it again, season 2. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Breaking Bread Studios for allowing me to do my podcast in a studio. And again, thank you for Flow Empire Network for giving me that opportunity. So before we get started, I would like to start with some plugs. I have a new Instagram, Black Kage 840. If you go to Black Kage 840 and you go to my bios, it basically has my Twitter, it has my Facebook page, and it has my Twitch account. Yes, I'm also a gamer as a hobby. So if you're into gaming, you can also follow me on Twitch. All right. Now, today we're doing a special episode. Black Wall Street Chronicles, we support black businesses. And today I want to talk about sexual harassment in the workplace. And the reason why I want to talk about sexual harassment in the workplace, because if you see what's going on in the media, there's a lot of men and there's a lot of women being destroyed because they're not doing the right thing. So I think it's time for me to tell you guys what is the laws and about sexual harassment and what we can do to basically prevent it. And I will talk about various stories. I will give examples of various stories within the media where sexual harassment happens, and we'll basically talk about that. So I'm going to go through my notes, and I'm going to tell you the 2 types of sexual harassment. Give me one moment. Alrighty. Here's the paperwork right here. See, I have a lot of papers here. So, okay. According to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, there are 2 types of sexual harassment claims: quid pro quo and hostile work environment. The EEOC provides guidance on defining sexual harassment and establish employment liability. Quid pro quo means this for that. In this context, it involves an express or implied demands for sexual favors in exchange for some benefit, e.g. a promotion, pay increase, or to avoid some deterrent, e.g. termination or demotion in the workplace. Quid pro quo harassment is perpetuated by someone who is in a position of power or authority over another, e.g. a manager or supervisor or a subordinate. A clear example of quid pro quo harassment would be a supervisor threatening to fire an employee if he or she does not have sex with the supervisor. Hostile work environment harassment arises when speech or conduct is so severe and pervasive it creates an intimidating or demeaning environment or situation that negatively affects a person's job performance. Unlike quid pro quo harassment, this type of harassment can be perpetuated by anyone in the work environment, including a peer, supervisor, subordinate, vendor, customer, or contractor. Hostile work environment situations are not easy to recognize, given that an individual comment or occurrence may not be severe. Demeaning behavior may occur that is not based on sex, and there may be long periods between offensive incidents. Examples of conduct that might create a hostile work environment include inappropriate touching, sexual jokes or comments, repeated requests for dates, or a work environment where offensive pictures are displayed. The EEOC says sexual harassment can occur in a variety of circumstances, including the following. The victim as well as the harasser may be a woman or a man. The victim does not have to be the opposite sex. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor or agent of the employer, a supervisor in another area, a co-worker, or a non-employee. The victim does not have to be the person harassed, but could be anybody affected by offensive conduct. Unlawful sexual harassment may occur without economic injury to or discharge of the victim. The harasser's conduct must be unwelcomed. Prevention is the best tool to eliminate sexual harassment in the workplace. By communicating to employees that sexual harassment will not be tolerated, by training on harassment prevention, by establishing an effective complaint process, and by taking immediate and appropriate action when an employee complains. Employers have an opportunity to stop inappropriate behavior before it reaches the level of illegal harassment. Okay, so that's the two examples of sexual harassment in the workplace. Now, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to give you examples in the entertainment industry where these two types of harassments is made rampant, and what we can do to prevent it. Welcome back. This is Jeffrey Frazier from Black Wall Street Chronicles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read an article from the New York Times by two women who won the Pulitzer Prize for breaking the Harvey Weinstein story. I'm going to read the article, and we're basically going to talk about it because the Harvey Weinstein situations and many other situations in Hollywood is the quid pro quo that I was talking about earlier, which means this for that, is trading sexual favors for an opportunity or a raise. All right, so, which explains the reluctance I felt sitting down to read, she said, the breaking sexual harassment story that helped ignite a movement, wherein the New York Times reporter Jodi Kantor and Megan Towie visited at book length their investigative reporting on Weinstein, promising a substantial amount of new information. New information? More than 80 women have come forward to recount their inquiries with the Oscar Award monopolizer and patron of progressive causes, Tinseltown Uber Orger, the beast whose fishy, unshaven headshot every famous Hollywood beauty knows to hate, and whose trial has now been rescheduled for January to allow for additional testimony against them. What new gruesome details do we need? But, she said, isn't retailing extra helpings of a warmed over simplicity. The author's new information is less about the main and more about the surround sound complicity machine of board members and lawyers, human resource officers and PR flags, tabloid publishers and entertainment reporters who kept him rampaging with impunity years after his behavior had become an open secret. Kantor and Towie instinctively understand the dangers of the Harvey as monster storyline and the importance of refocusing our attention on structures of power. When they at last confront Weinstein in a Time conference room and later on speakerphone, his mouth that roared, the great and powerful Oz turned puny humbug, swerving from incoherent rants to self-pitying whimpers, I'm already dead, to the sarcastic claims of just being one of them. If I wasn't making movies, I would have been a journalist. He's loathsome and self-serving, but his psychology is not the story we want to tell. The drama they chronicle instead is more complex and subtle. a narrative in which they are ultimately not mere observers but essential to Amor's message, protagonists themselves. Candor and Toei broke the Weinstein story. The 3,300-word Times article on October 5, 2017 aired allegations against him that had been piled up as whispers and rumors for 30 years. That report and ones to follow were grounded in scores of interviews with actresses and current and former employees, supplemented by legal filings, corporate records, and internal company communications that documented a thick web of cover-ups, bullying tactics, and confidential settlements. It was bravado journalism. We watched with astonishment as a damn wall broke. Cantor and Toei write of the response to that first article. A day after it was published, so many women phoned the Times to report allegations of sexual harassment and assault against Weinstein that paper had to assign additional reporters to handle the calls. On October 10th, another round of women, including marquee names like Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, and Rosanna Arquette, went to public a second article in the Times. 3 weeks later, a third article details still more accounts of sexual abuse by Weinstein, spamming the globe and dating back to the 1970s. This has haunted me my entire life, said 62-year-old Hope Extended Demore, who recounted being raped by Weinstein when she was in her early 20s. The series of articles in many ways ignited the Me Too movement, already smoldering in the atmosphere of frustration after reports of Donald Trump's alleged sexual predations. A story that Toei broke with another reporter at the release of Access Hollywood. Tape failed to show the reality star's march to the White House. Their reporting, Cantor and Toei recall, she said, seemed to operate as a solvent for secrecy, pushing all women all over the world to speak up about similar experiences. A solvent for the structures that enforced their secrecy. A day after the first story came out, a third of all male board of the Weinstein Company resigned, and the remaining members put Weinstein on leave. 2 days later, he was fired. Within a year, his corporation declared bankruptcy, and as a part of the Chapter 11 filing, released employees from non-disclosure agreements. Yeah, the Me Too movement destroyed Weinstein. He's not in jail, but he's pretty much lost everything. What explains the company's decades of inaction? Answering that question and parsing the ways that such entities and their centurions function as Weinstein's shield, as the prime focus of She Said. The guardians of the offers unmasked aren't the only obvious ones. Yes, Weinstein board members looked the other way long after they knew. Yes, the National Enquirer and the Black Cube security snoops, Deep Six, damaging documents and shut down whistleblowers. Yes, Weinstein's brother Bob, the company's co-founder, kept mum beyond all reason, even after Harvey had punched him in the face. But there was also the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which often kept its settlement secret, and David Bowles, the lawyer admired for championing gay marriage before the Supreme Court, who served as Weinstein's personal collegiaire and tried to squash every threat of bad press. Linda Fairstein, the celebrated Manhattan sex crimes prosecutor, who, after an Italian model, reported to the New York City police that Weinstein brokered connections between Weinstein's legal team and the lead prosecutor and tried to discredit the woman's allegations to Toei. And there was Gloria Allred, the crusading feminist lawyer, whose law firm in 2004 negotiated a non-disclosure agreement for one of Weinstein's victims. The firm pocketed 40% of the settlement. While the attorney cultivated a reputation for giving female victims a voice, Cantor and Toei write, some of her work and revenue was negotiating secret settlements that silenced them and buried allegations of sexual harassment and assault. Alfred went on to do the same with women who had been abused by the Fox News host Bill O'Reilly and the Olympic gymnast Dr. Larry Nassar. In 2017, after a group of lawyers and Muslim sexual harassment victims already denounced the move and threatened to go to an attack, the legislator Connie Levy quickly shelved the idea. A year later, Levy introduced such a bill into law. Maybe the most appealing figure in the constellation of collaborators and enablers is Lisa Bloom, Allred's daughter, a lawyer likewise known from her winning sexual harassment settlements with non-disclosure agreements. Bloom was retained by Weinstein, who had also bought the movie rights to her book. In a jaw-dropping memo to Weinstein, Bloom itemized her game plan: initiate countertops online complaints, place articles in the press painting one of his accusers as a pathological liar, start a Weinstein Foundation on gender equality, and hire a reputation management company to suppress negative articles on Google. Oh, in this, Jim, you and I come out publicly in a preemptive interview where you talk about evolving on women's issues, prompted by the death of your mother. Trump pussy grab tape, a maybe nasty, unfounded, hurtful rumors about you. You should be the hero of the story, not the villain. This is very doable. She said contains a second story. She contains a second story of what's doable against great odds and how two reporters with no connections in Hollywood and with almost no one willing to go on the record were able to penetrate this mantra and expose what lay behind it to public scrutiny. This is the book's deeper level. The story of getting a story. Signal and the chance of chapters like The First Phone Call and Who Else Is on the Record. Cantor and Tui have crafted their news dispatches into a seamless and suspenseful account of reportorial journey, a gripping blow-by-blow on how they manage, working in baked spaces between the words, to corroborate allegations that have been chased and abandoned by multiple journalists before them. She says it reads a bit like a feminist, All the President's Men. Cantor and Tui take us to time-consuming, meticulous, and often go-nowhere grunt work that is intrinsic to gathering evidence, winning the trust of gun-shy victims, and maneuvering past barricades that block the path to a pushable article. Along the way, we witness how much institutional support such a protracted effort requires. Cantor and Tui make a point throughout the book, stressing their reliance on a multi-layer editorial team. For rigorous young research assistants like Grace Ashford, who comes through government employment data and tracks down a key former assistant from the late 1980s at Miramax, Weinstein's film production company, to seasoned elder heads like Times investigative editor Rebecca Corbett, 60-something skeptical, scrupulous, and allergic to flashiness or exaggeration. Candle and Tui write of her, but so low-profile she bravely surfaced in Google search results. Her ambition was journalistic, not personal. The night before the first article ran, Corbett remained in the newsroom until dawn, weighing and re-weighing every word. In this way, she said, is a dead-on description of what makes so-called legacy journalism so powerful. Ironically, the Me Too movement that Cantor and Tui articles about Weinstein helped launch promulgates an opposite message, that the best way to bring injustice to light is to get rid of the gatekeepers and let it rip on Twitter. And that's the only get to the truth when the establishment is brought down and no one's in charge. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and I'm going to come back with more commentary. Yeah, what's going on, guys? This is Jeffrey Frazier, and this is Black Wall Street Chronicles, and we're back at it again. There's actually more to the article, but all I want you to do is I want you to read these two women's book. The book is called She Said, and it's by Jordan Cantor and Megan Towie. and they're winners of the Pulitzer Prize. And if you want to read this book, you just go to Barnes and Nobles or you go to Amazon.com and you can purchase it, and it's actually a good read. You know, to make this lighthearted and fun, there's a stand-up comedian by the name of Patrice O'Neill, and he did this hilarious, funny joke called, "We should have a special day called Harassment Day, where all of the men and all of the women can say the creepy shit to each other just to get it out of their system." It's actually very hilarious, but there may be something to that. That's so obscene. My thing is this: there's a lot of men and a lot of women out here that's really getting in trouble. Uh, when I was reading this article, I noticed that you talked about Gloria Allred and Lisa Bloom. Um, Gloria Allred and Lisa Bloom were so interested in putting the great Bill Cosby in jail, and it's so many accusations. I can't even defend Bill Cosby. I believe he did it. My thing is this: is I still feel that he's been convicted in kangaroo court, because you have Lisa Bloom and you have Gloria Allred. They're so steadfast of putting Bill Cosby in jail, yet they, on this article, has been exposed by these two women, Jodi Cantor and Megan Towie, that they are protecting Harvey Weinstein. And they're not only protecting Harvey Weinstein, it says here they're protecting the Olympic guy that harassed a woman. It's just a whole bunch of things, man, that they protecting. And I don't know, like, Lisa Bloom right now is a lawyer for Montoya Sabag, and Montoya Sabag is the porn star that is suing Kevin Hart for $60 million because of that sex tape. So on one hand, you have Lisa Bloom, you know, she's defending this woman who allegedly is being harassed and took advantage of these black men, but she's defending the white men. That is a racial hypocrisy. And the hashtag Me Too movement was started, and it was headed by Tamika Mallory and Tawana Burke. And the reason why they wanted Tamika Mallory and Tawana Burke, because they actually was the ones, Tawana Burke was the ones that actually started the hashtag. And they said, the only way that we're going to do this movement if a black woman is going to run it, which is true. Now you have Alyssa Milano. She started her Time's Up movement and Oprah Winfrey. And what they tried to do is they tried to tie Tamika Mallory and Tawana Burke to Minister Farrakhan, and to say that Minister Farrakhan is anti-Semitic, to basically take away their power. You see, and it's something going on in Hollywood where there's a lot of stuff, and they're basically trying to protect it, and they're trying to use black men as an scapegoat, and they're trying to discredit black people who is actually trying to lead the hashtag Me Too movement. And I don't know, it's very suspect, and these people in the positions of power doesn't even understand that it is destroying Hollywood. Like, you know, they're losing credibility. Like, everybody on the internet now thinks that all of these women, you know, that's winning these awards are casting couch. They are, you know, they are quid pro quo. They're trading sex for movie roles, and that's not good. You know, the woman is actually being taken advantage of. And it's also happening in stand-up comedy, you know. You have Louis C.K., he got caught pulling out his penis in front of a woman. Now he's back to doing stand-up comedy, and he's not even apologizing for what he did. You know, my thing is this. I believe that man should go to jail. That's what I believe. He should go to jail for a couple of months. But the problem is that these women, the ones that had accused Louis C.K., they're not, they seem to be protecting him too. You know, you're allowing this man to still go to the comedy clubs in New York City and Boston or whatever, and this man possibly belongs in jail. It's real funny to me because it's like these guys actually deserve to go to jail, but you don't want them to go to jail. You basically want them to basically submit to you. It's like it's like the white woman in Hollywood don't want these men to actually go to jail and face the American justice system. They actually want to replace them to be the people that's in the positions of power. And I feel they're doing that wrong. That's what I feel. It's actually very scary because the Kevin Hart situation, that just makes me break out in hives. It makes me itch to think that, my friend sets me up in this sex tape. And while I'm struggling with a spinal cord injury, all of a sudden this woman while I have the injury, wants to sue me for $60 million. Like, why they're so interested in Kevin Hart and they're protecting all of these people in Hollywood. It's weird. It's very weird to me. But I'm basically what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sign off. This is a short show. I'll be back with my next episode where I'll talk about the vaccine injuries that's going on in the United States of America. Thank you very much and enjoy your night. God bless.